Hello! Surprise! Welcome to a Monday stream, right? What's going on? Fountain pen news. Yay, just what I need. I know I needed this too. I needed friends to hang out with. GHP, yay, hi, welcome in. An unexpected treat for sure. Jessie, how's it going? Carol, how's it going? Hello, everyone. I hope you had a good weekend. If you had a long weekend, I hope you had a good long weekend, an Easter weekend. We were knee-deep in scavenger hunts and egg hunts and things like that, so my kids had so much fun over the weekend. And I hope your week is off to a good start. And I thought I would add to some of that excitement by streaming a little bit. It might be a shorter stream than my usual streams because my kids do have the day off, so they're here and you never know what might come up. But I did want to stream because I have some stationery unboxing to do. And so I thought I could do that on my own, or I could just hop on and do a little unboxing and yeah, do some fun stuff. Just hang out for a little bit. I did. My daughter and I painted ink flowers. So fun. Oh, awesome, Carol. That sounds a lot of fun. Very artsy and a great way to enjoy the weekend, isn't it? Like a great way just to chill and have fun and not do too many serious things. Yeah, let me know what you've been up to. Have you had any recent stationery acquisitions? GHP, how are your new pens treating you? Let me know what you're up to. Had a great Space City Pen Club meeting at Dromgo's last Thursday. Oh, I think I saw your Slack post about that. That's awesome. And you saw Kirk, got some grinds, did you? That's amazing. I love that. And it's also good to have a fun meetup. Especially if you know, hang out with pen friends and play with pens and things like that. Jessie, you were there too. That's amazing. Awesome. Jessie, did you get any grinds done or did you just kind of hang out? I got a cursive italic and smooth cursive italic. Ooh, nice. Are you a cursive italic person? Like, is that your favorite grind? I do like CIs for sure. They are fun. I like all kinds of grinds, but cursive italics are good. Had Kirk do 2 katana with reverse needlepoint grinds. Yes, I saw that one. One on my Estie and one on my Vac Mini. Oh, cool. Amazing. And yeah, I saw that in Slack. That looked really cool. The needlepoint reverse definitely is very interesting. So you can get that katana line variations and then also get your needlepoint. Yes, actually smooth cursive italic. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's good that you know what you like, and then you can get the grind and get it tuned to your writing style, right? Like, I love that, is when you sort of find the writing style that you like in terms of like the grind or the nib, and then getting it sort of tuned to how you grip the pen and stuff, and make that writing experience even more enjoyable, right? So I had a pen meetup yesterday, just a local one, just with a few people, and I got some things from them. So what I usually do is I add them into my TN insert, and this is like a spillover journal, creative journal, collage journal. And usually what I put in here are like postcards, things that are a little bit bulky, that I can't really throw into a regular journal because I'm not the type of person that likes a really chunky book at the end of the year. It's satisfying to look at, but I find it frustrating to use. So my solution to that is I have this TN insert. I have it in an olive TN. And it sort of sits on my desk. And when I have like ephemera or people send me happy mail and then they kind of send those extra things, I throw them in here. And then that way, I just have to adjust my camera. And then that way, I can sort of, you know, rifle through this and it doesn't bulk up my regular journal. So it's amazing what a great stand-up guy Kirk was. Yeah. With the Vac Mini's original EF tipping breaking off. Yeah, I saw that. That's crazy. Now you've got to be on it and it's been fun to write with. I'm so glad that you enjoy it now, right? Olive Octopus. Hi, welcome in. How was your weekend? Enjoyed your inky stream, your art stream yesterday before I had to hop off, but welcome in. I'm doing a little bit of journaling while we sort of catch up, and then I'm going to do some stationery unboxing, and we'll talk about Esties. I'm going to adjust my, sorry. It's just on this tripod thingy that's like, it just keeps moving very slightly every once in a while, and so anyways. Little Craft Fest this weekend. Yeah. If you're going, have fun. That's gonna be exciting. A lot of people are going, and a stationery fest is always fun, isn't it? So yeah, I met up with a couple of local pen friends who I met in person for the first time. So that's always fun when you get to put a face to a name or a username or an Instagram handle, and so that was really fun. And yeah, so I walked away with some ink samples, some fun little ephemera washi tape and things like that. So I'm going to throw that into my TN journal, and then we'll do some stationery unboxing. Should be fun. The first day is Friday. Oh, that's awesome. It's coming up quick. I feel like there was so much talk about it, and now it's finally here. So yeah, if you're going, have fun. I spent most of my 3-day weekend at stationery stores or with pen people, so it was a pretty good time over here. I know, Olive, I totally feel that. Like, just spending time with, like, people who sort of build you up in terms of our hobbies and interests, and getting to like geek out, right? Like it's fun. So Zodiac Pen is here. Bart just kicked in the door. The party's ready to begin. How are you doing, Bart? It's been a while, right? You missed a stream. I missed a stream. We're like trying to get back into routine. So yeah, I had to do a spontaneous kind of. Yesterday I decided I was gonna stream today because I picked up some stationery stuff, stationery orders that I had made with the TheCoffeeMonsterzCo, Helen, and because she lives pretty close to me, sometimes she holds my orders, and then when we meet up to catch up, she gives me our orders, so we don't have to deal with shipping and all that stuff. So there were two orders that she was holding for me and gave them to me yesterday, and so I'm really, really excited. So we'll go through it, and yeah, we'll see what I got. Last I heard, there's still tickets available for Friday and Sunday. Saturday is sold out. Oh, interesting. They're doing 500 stamp rally bags each day. Yeah, I heard about that, the rally. So hopefully that goes well. Did you get your Coffee Monsters? I did. That's one of the things that I got. So we'll definitely look at it. And then we'll talk about my other Esties too to compare. Yeah, lots of good conversation. It's funny how, like when we meet up with people who have similar interests, we like, I don't know about you, but like you kind of end up talking about other things as well, just like life stuff. And it turns out that because we have similar interests, sometimes like we have other commonalities that we may not have picked up on, without having that like icebreaker of like, oh, you're into pens. Like, let's talk about pens, right? So that's kind of nice. And then you can talk about other things, and turns out you might have other hobbies and other interests in common too. It's just kind of like, I find pen people are just casual and friendly. Anyways. What's my favorite grind? Good question, Jessie. I think for me, I tend to go for the naginata variation. So like a katana or a techo, or if you get it ground by CY, it's either the mini sankaksen or the sankaksen. I think Gina has a perspective grind. So like variations of that is kind of my go-to. But I do like a variety of grinds. So I have a lot of custom grinds because I like to sort of play around with different writing styles and different like ways of, sort of lettering, right? Playing with hand lettering. And so, yeah, I kind of vary my, what I get ground, but I think I tend to go towards like a grind that gives me different line variations based on how I'm holding the pen. And so I can kind of like my regular writing grip and style is kind of at a higher angle when I'm lettering or printing. And when I'm doing cursive or sort of slant writing, I tend to have a lower angle. And so if I have a grind that kind of varies based on that, I really enjoy that. So LCF also just put out the table layout map on their Insta feed. Oh, good. So you can sort of map out where you're going to go. Be strategic, for sure. Yeah, I know Olive Octopus being close to the Gentleman's Stationery. You just pop in whenever, right? Kind of. Yeah. So, so I met Linda, and she's local, and on her Instagram she shares it's kind of like part catstagram. So Pens and Cat, I think, is her handle, and she has two cats, Poe and Ty, and they're so cute. And so yeah, it was really cute because she gave photos and also like some washi and some stickers and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna add them into my journal because why not? Azuir, something like that. I'm probably butchering your name, but thanks for the follow. Thanks for being. Oh, Sheila. How do you pronounce that? Hi, Sheila. I was like, who is that? But yay. Hi. I'm so glad you're here. Oh, Linda's too. Linda's here, but she's shy. Come on, Linda. As I'm like talking about your cats and oh, and these cool washi strips. Is this Dodo Lulu? Is that who the designer or artist is? Pens and Cat. Don't expose me like that. Sorry. I've exposed your cats. You have the cutest cats. And also, I love this washi tape. Olive Octopus, I arrived at Butler Stationer about 8:20 a.m. and left around 4? Whoa, I think Jonathan and I had a small group therapy session in between the morning group hangout and afternoon people. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice that you can hang out like that and have like a good chat, right? That's always nice. Like when you end up spending more time than you kind of expected or allotted, it's like, it's kind of nice. Like it turns out that you actually enjoy that time and you get a lot of out of it. Oh, also, I have to say, La Dolce Vita is like one of my favorite designers ever. So, yeah, that's awesome. Fair is pretty great. I do pop in a lot. Yeah. Well, it's handy that you have a stationery store and also like someone that you get along with, that you like, that you can chat with, and you can sort of, pop in whenever you like and need a little bit of stationary time. Gamma Gamma joined the club. Oh, thank you. Thanks for the sub, Eric. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. And how are you doing? As I try to take this sticker off. Oh, community time. Hi. Yes, stationery unboxing, right? Always such a good time. The best time is stationery time. Especially when you get to unbox something and like... You got the ink ponies from Lisa. Oh, that's amazing. Yay. You're having a little busy day. Busy start to the week. But enjoy the flowers. Amazing. Yay. Okay, so later I'm gonna add a little bit of blurb about meeting up with pen people and how fun it was. Oh, I had so much fun. But I just wanted to throw at least the photos of Poe and Ty in there. So I have that. And then I won't lose it, and I'll be reminded to go back in and just write a little caption. That cat sticker with a pancake is adorable. Yeah. That's you with a full stack. So cute, right? Yeah, this one. Oh, these are really cute too. I love any cat stickers, really. So fun. Okay, so let's put that aside and hold on, I might have to check on my kits for 1 second, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. All right, so yesterday too, what we did was we just kind of sampled our pens. So I really enjoyed that. I love that, like, when you get to meet up with pen people, they always like bring out their pens, right? Like that's something we do. We're like, hey, like look at my pens, and they're like, look at my pens. It's like it's such a fun time checking out other people's pens. And then I always like walk away with like, ooh, I like that ink, I like that nib. Take a little note on like what I could get custom ground next time, or what I can try next time. Or like different ink pairings depending on the pen and stuff too. So that was fun. But what we are gonna do is we're gonna go into my stationery haul. Let's get into it. I'm gonna put this aside for now, but we will ink up a pen, and we will look at stickers and all sorts of fun stuff from the Coffee Monsters Co. So before I actually jump into the unboxing, I always like to do a little about me, because if you're joining me for the first time, or you're kind of like, who is this? Or you're watching the replay, thank you so much. I'm Corolla. I go by From Corolla on all socials, and I love all things stationery, planners, journals, fountain pens. I love painting with watercolor paints and fountain pen inks. My style is kind of an abstract floral style. If you follow me on socials, that's kind of what I like to share about, because it's kind of my time to relax and enjoy my fountain pen inks, but also I find that it lets me be creative and play with my inks without feeling the pressure of having to create something beautiful or something intentional. And I love sharing my process, so that's why I live stream. I also do YouTube tutorials, just to share my process, encouraging people to play with their supplies, whether it's fountain pen inks or watercolor paints or whatever you're sort of into. You know, I love when people sort of enjoy their supplies, their stationery, and it brings out the creative side of us, because as creative people, we kind of need that outlet sometimes, especially if we're going through a stressful time or, you know, just world events. And we kind of need that time to be artsy, to be creative, to have fun, and play. And so things that help us to play are some fun stationery. So these are 2 orders that I ordered with the Coffee Monsters Co. And we're going to do the pen last, even though you can see that I got it. So I'm super, super excited. But I will show you. I'll show you the first order before we sort of dive into the pen and inking it up and stuff. But I did get something for Helen's anniversary sale. Which was in March. And let's go. Let's go. Let's do it, right? By the way, Eric, I loved your YouTube video of your unboxing. And you're like, Bob the Blob pen rest. I love seeing the pen rest. And I was like, I'm going to get it soon. So yeah, I'm glad that I got it. So this is a pen rest, and he's called Bob, and he's just a blob, but he's so cute. He's so cute, right? He's like flying a plane, or like he is kind of the plane, or he's just kind of laying down, you know, he's relaxing. And so he'll hold on to your pen. What I really like about this is like the really soft sort of velvet texture on the bottom, because that, like, it'll help not scratch up things, right, if you put it on your desk. And then the other thing too is the weight. Like, it's actually quite hefty, and so I trust Bob to hold on to my pens. And it's actually pretty, like, I think it would hold pretty much any pen. I think I tried it with an oversized pen too when I was at Helen's one time, and saw this, and I was like, let me just throw like the big Skogsy Choya on here, and it was like a big pen. Like, so yes, he can hold a lot of pens. Let's rock. That might be a full flute. Yeah, it might be. He's a cutie. He's a cutie. Okay, so what else did I get in that order? I actually kind of forgot. So we have a cute craft sticker, Coffee Monsters Co. Ooh, and then we have a couple of vinyls. I Heart Stationery. I Heart Notebooks, which we kind of do, don't we? They're so like cute and relatable. And then a little sampler for March, so that's why it says chapter 3, because these are given out for the month that you make the order in. And so if you got something for the anniversary sale, you'll get the March one. Oh, it's blue. And then a pocket. It's like a sticky pocket, so you could put this into your notebook or anywhere where you kind of want to have little knickknacks, have little sheets and things, stickers and stuff in there. And then this sticker sheet. I love Helen's doodles. They're so cute. So these are large tabletop treasures doodles. And it's like a washi tape sticker. So it's not going to add a lot of bulk to your notebook or journal or planner, wherever you're putting it, which is something I appreciate. And then this is the B6 size envelope. And so you can hold sticker sheets and other things in here. And it'll fit into like a B6 size notebook or something bigger. But I just love the design. Like, it just goes so well with everything that's like what Helen has been coming out with, right? Like the fountain pen, ink, all that stuff. And it's like so speaks to me. That I love this aesthetic and color. So sweet. And then the journaling card, which is cute. What kind of cat should you never trust? A cheetah. So cute. These dad jokes get me every time. And then this little cute little charm with a little fountain pen. So I had a charm. I used a charm like that for, like, you could put it on your, oh, you can't see that. You could put it on like a zipper or something like that. Right? And so these cute little mini charms, they kind of just hang off. And yeah, you can add it to like zippers. You can add it to TN, your TN covers, wherever you can sort of clip them on. I just find them really cute. Like, yeah, that little charm is adorbs, right? It's so cute. You just throw it onto something, a pouch or whatever, to just spruce it up a little bit. And then this is the Tabletop Treasures washi. And so it has, like, you know, fountain pens, things that you would find on a tabletop if you're into pens and inks and notebooks and stuff. It's really cool because it has like a rose gold foil on it. So if I open it, it's just really nice. Like the design, right? It has so many little, like, so many little elements to it. And the detail is just, blows me away. So that was the anniversary sale stuff. And I wanted this because then I could put my pen on it, right? It's like all like a grand master plan. You have a pen rest, so you get the pen. Yeah. So that was that. Really, really cute stuff. I love all of Helen's designs anyways, so I'm really happy I could get that stuff. And then, let's see. So the pen, the TCMC Estie, right? I was super, super lucky that I was able to snag this when it launched on Helen's site. So I got it directly from TCMC, and I got it with a journaler nib, which I think sold out within seconds because, like, it was, my hands were shaking by the time I checked out so quick. And it's like years of practicing of, like, if you know, purchasing from the Coffee Monsters Co. A few years ago would have been like, yeah, you have to have super fast fingers, and when things sell out within seconds, they're sold out, right? So not until Helen sort of introduced the pre-order or the hybrid pre-order where things sell out and then she'll do a pre-order for things, was like less stressful, right? But this Esterbrook launch was definitely stressful for a lot of people. And because there was so much hype around it. Everyone loves Helen. They wanted the pen. The pen is gorgeous. And so, getting it was like, yeah, there were retailers that you could choose from, but at the same time, they all sold out pretty instantly. So, I'm glad that there will be more opportunities to get it if you didn't get it. And I know there's still some frustrations around getting it in hand. And so I hope those things get worked out, and I hope the learning experience, I hope retailers take that into account for next time, or, for trying to improve the process. But that being said, I'm glad I got it. And yeah. He doesn't know. I'm just so intrigued by that journaler nib, almost as much as the Tetchone, actually more than the Scribe. Yeah, for sure. So I also have, so I got a journaler because it's ground from a medium nib for Esterbrook. But I also got a custom ground journaler nib from Gina at one of the pen shows. And so what we'll do is we'll kind of do like a writing sample comparison. We'll ink this one up, and I'll do a little writing sample, and then we'll compare it to the broad journaler and kind of see like if you notice a difference and what it feels like and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm really, really excited. So I know a lot of people have probably seen unboxings. I didn't get this pen, like the first person to get it. So I'm sure you've seen how beautiful the packaging is, just how much thought went into it to make it look like a drawer, and you sort of slide it open, and on this side is also a drawer. And then on the side, like scritch scratch. I adore Helen's little details and how much thought is put into this. And just like any of the designs that she does, right? So that in itself is like an experience. I am going to ink it up with a companion ink, which is this one, Forgotten Iced Coffee, because I think it's a good pairing. So we'll see. We'll see what it looks like in the pen. And I do love the shade, so we'll try it out and see. It comes with a little sticker sheet, and because it's a journaler nib, you get the little card from Gina. And then because it's from Helen directly, you get a little note card, or like a little message on the note card that comes from Esterbrook. And then Forgotten Iced Coffee, you know that color too well. Do you forget about your coffee? I feel like mine always get cold anyways, so like my regular hot coffees become cold coffees. So and so if you are using an Estie for the first time, or you're not comfortable with using a converter to fill it up with bottled ink, I love that Esterbrook kind of, or like most pen brands, will include a cartridge, so you can just pop it in and use it right away if you wanted to. And then I also love this little detail, like when you pull up the little cushion with a pen, there's just that, they're kind of, the emojis are peeking out. It's so cute. So this is a pen. I'm sure you've seen photos, video, maybe you have it, but it is this really, really beautiful sort of cream color, kind of like a milky latte. And it comes with this cap band that has Jonathan Brooks material from Carolina Pen Co. It has Esterbrook etched on there, and gold trim. And then, in case you didn't know, Esterbrook's caps are, I think they call them cushion inner caps or something like that. And they just have a little bit of a seal, so you kind of feel that pop, like as it sort of yeah, you sort of feel the springiness. It feels springy. And the cap sort of just like pops off a little bit because it's meant to seal that nib. So it keeps it wet so your ink doesn't dry out, which I just think is like a nice extra little touch to the cap. And then that is the nib. And so because it's a journaler, you can see that it's engraved J, and then it has GS for Gina. And then it has the little emoji, which is so cute. I love that little touch, and I love that Helen really wanted that emoji on there. Just like a little token, right? That it is the Coffee Monsters Co. And it has little, what are those, diamonds or stars or whatever. Just a little magical. And then the grip section, which is also by Jonathan Brooks. It's like the swirly material. And each one is unique to your pen, right? No two are alike. And the swirly pattern, or how much of each color, like how they're sort of laid out, is unique. And I've seen many different variations of this, and I feel like I like them all. Like I love the colors used, and I like the sort of like, it does look like, you know, you're pouring milk into a coffee or something like that, where you get a little bit of that like movement in there. And then in the light, there's actually a little bit of shimmer. And I think some pens may have more shimmer than others. And I do see it slightly in where it's like really light. And you definitely see it in the sun. So that swirly pattern and material is just so cool. Yeah, I agree, GHP. Like, it just, and how well does it go with the color of the pen, right? Like, this overall just looks so seamless. Like, everything just goes so well together. So well thought out. It actually pulls together the whole pen aesthetic. Yes, exactly. Yeah, for me too. Like, it just, like, this is the, you know, it's just like icing on the top of a cake or something. Like, you're kind of like, oh, wow, I didn't really expect, especially like, you know, when you first uncap the pen, because you can't see the material. So it's just this surprise of like, oh, wow, right? It's beautiful. And each pen is different. And so it's kind of like a unique surprise to you, like when you open up the pen. That is one classy pen. Yeah, for sure. It is for sure. It's like just a little understated. Like, there's just these little intricate details that kind of pull it together in like a very unique, gorgeous, you know, way. But it's not like super flashy. Like, it doesn't like scream out anything, right? But it's just really like classy. It's well designed, well put together. It's beautiful. So I am in love. I love it. I think it's a gorgeous pen. And so, yeah, you can put the pen on Bob, and Bob will definitely look out for the pen. And so the other two things I got with that was the ink, which is the matching ink, Forgotten Iced Coffee. And then you also get this journaler card. Oh, yeah, I also ordered these headers. If you haven't seen these by the Coffee Monsters Co., they're doodle headers, and you can put this in your planner, and you can just like, it's sort of like on the top of your column. And I love that it's like the fountain pen and ink theme. And it's meant to, like, you could put this over your weekend column. So Super Planner Girl, hi! Yay! I'm so glad you're here. Excited to see the pen on video. Yeah, I know. Mrs. G's, hi, welcome in. How's it going? How's your trip still going? How's your weekend? And happy Monday. And Super Planner Girl, did you see me actually walk through the pen? Because I opened it and I was looking at it and stuff. So if you didn't, I will sort of like open it up for you and stuff again. But we will ink it up, so you'll see it. But yeah. Yay, that's awesome. I'm so glad. Okay, so we will ink up the pen. So okay, you just got here. Okay, no worries. I'll go through it when we ink it up. You didn't miss that. And this is the blotter sheets. And I personally love blotter paper. Let me just I have blotter paper in pretty much all of my notebooks, and I use them a lot. So if you've seen me paint with fountain pen inks on my stream or on Instagram or on YouTube, sometimes when I want the ink to dry faster, I'll just blot it with the blotter paper. But in general, I have blotter paper in all of my notebooks because it's a great way of keeping your inks from smudging or, transferring onto pages if you write in your journal or your planner and you kind of close your book, and sometimes you'll see that ink transfer. And so blotter paper is a great way and a cute way sometimes of just protecting your paper, protecting the ink. And yes, I will use these because I like using these things because they're so cute. And I think that part of, the cuteness is enjoying it, right? So every time you open up a book and there's a cute emoji laughing at you with a little heart, I feel like it would bring a smile to my face. So, so this is one of the sheets. This is the other. Keep creating. So cute. And then this is a pattern. And then there's two sheets where they're perforated. And so you can get 3 out of this. And this is just like a small size, right? So you can throw it into a smaller notebook or just to cover a small portion of your page. Or you can also, like if you're writing, you can also rest your hand on it. Sometimes if it's really warm or humid or whatever and you're kind of sweating on the paper or it gets really warm, it can sort of protect the paper from hand oils. So yeah, right? What cute blotter sheets, for sure. I'm good. I'm good, thanks, Mrs. G's. Yeah, I did have a really good fun pen time yesterday. Some really nice pen friends, and I'm so glad that we got to meet up and hang out, and I got to meet them. And then seeing Helen is always a joy. She's such a nice person, so... That keep creating is so sweetly motivational. I know, and it's just so cute, right? Like, it's just a nice reminder too, right? Like, keep creating. And even this is like, it's just a cute little greeting. Hello. Almost makes me laugh. And it's like these really small details that you tend to notice afterwards. Like it says cookie on the cookie, right? It's just really cute. Like, yeah. It's just little details that stand out, and right, like the engraved emoji nib, the grip here, stickers. It's really, really cute. That's what I use my pencil boards for, putting directly under my hand for hand oils. Yeah, it really does help. Yeah, it really does help. Pencil boards are great for that for sure. Blotter paper for sure. I mean, any paper. Like I also sometimes reuse these journaling cards. Sometimes brands send them, or like in the Sterling ink planner, Catherine included these little calendar cards. So on the one hand, they're great for like protecting your page. They're also functional if there's a calendar or something. But yeah, you can use it to sort of rest your hand, and then you don't have to worry about like transferring hand oils or, anything like that to your paper. And then also they're a great bookmark. So And the pen is the actual pen. Yeah, so it is. It's the actual pen, right? Like, how cool is that? So, yeah. So that's a blotting paper. This is what the pen comes in, right? I'm sure you've seen it. You sort of slide it out, and then there's the sticker sheet. Yeah. And then if you want an ink cartridge, you can use the ink cartridge. I love all the details she includes. I know, it's like, it's mesmerizing, right? Like, oh, and I didn't even mention the bottom. Like, it's just like a cute little blurb about what it means to her, and like what you can sort of find in this. It's like the theme of it I love, and you know, it's really nice. It's just all the little things that when it, like, it's a lot of work, right? Like designing this type of packaging and this type of product is so much work, but it's just like all that thought that went into it. So, and even this, like, you have a little emoji with a key because this is kind of a lock, right? And it will unlock the lock. And you have another little emoji there with this little wrench to help. Supplies. And then on the back is the name, Forgotten Iced Coffee. Many refills per container. Many refills for sure. Esterbrook 30%. The Coffee Monsters Co. 30%. Coffee Grounds 15%. Oh, wow. That's so cute. Ice cubes, oat milk, unknown sparkles. Yeah. Not safe for consumption. Not safe for consumption. Don't drink the ink. Oh, yes, right. The lock, because the lock is underneath here. Right? So cute. Now you're back, Bart. After I've like I've unboxed everything pretty much. But you haven't missed me inking the pen and looking at the ink, so we're gonna talk about the nib too. Kid drama. Oh, I know. I hear ya. I hear ya. You gotta take care of things. It is all good. I'm just glad you're here in general. I feel like we keep missing each other on streams. Like, where's Bart? Where's Corolla? I don't know. Yeah. I know. Bart's just like, starts the party and then he like takes a little break. But it's all good. LCP just dropped the link description for the LCF Penlux exclusive pen. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Let me see, one sec. Let's take a quick look while we're at it. Oh, interesting. Very nice. Ooh. Very cool. From sun-drenched hills of Texas to the palm of your hand, the masterpiece Delgado Field of Blue Bonnets. Very cool. Very nice. Purple and blue in there. It's a good combination, I think. Thanks for sharing, GHB. That's awesome. So this is the ink. Oh yeah, I was gonna say I saw your comment. Super Planner Girl. There's something under the little pillow too. Yeah, it is so cute. There's so you open all this up, right, and then you have the little cushion that the pen sits on, and then you have this. It's like a little peekaboo. You got little cute little emojis who are behind the memos. Again, very, very thoughtful. All the color, like all the colors, the palette sort of, it goes together really, really well, right? And then also on the box itself, that foil is really, really cool. So you get a little bit of shimmer, a little bit of interest in there. Just makes it interesting. So this is the ink bottle. Forgotten iced coffee. I love the frosted glass too. I think this is sort of what Esterbrook's newer inks they look like. And I really like the sort of like tapered design so that it doesn't easily fall over. I like the box too. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna swatch the ink. So we'll take a look at the colors of it, or the color of it. And then we'll ink up the pen and do a little writing sample. So what I usually do, here we go. What I usually do when I get a new bottle of ink is I put a little bit of it in a vial. So I have these little glass vials and I number them, and I keep a record of the ink that is in the vial. But what I do is I transfer a little bit to a little glass vial that I then keep on my desk for a little bit. And it's just to remind myself to play with it, to swatch it, to use it in different ways, paint with it. Instead of opening up the ink bottle every time that I want to kind of use it. And yeah, so I will ink up the fountain pen and then we'll do a little swatching. Or maybe we'll swatch first. Just take a look at the properties of the ink and see what it looks like on paper. So I have my trusty Kakimori nib, the stainless steel. I'm just gonna do a little put that down on paper. I like doing these line drawings of abstract flowers because it sort of gives me an idea of what the ink looks like when I sort of shade in the leaves, or when I'm doing a loop, or different sort of shapes. And I find that doing flowers is an interesting way for me to do it. Sort of keeps me interested. And then it also, when it dries, I can just I can see a lot more of the properties, shading, or if there's shimmer, then you can see a little bit more of the shimmer. And I do this when I get new nibs too, so I'll do it with a pen because it gives me a feel for what the nib feels like when you're doing sort of loops and different directional drawing. And so yeah, I can kind of get a better feel for the ink or the pen or the nib that way. So the one from that other guy, Zodiac, I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Yeah, so this is the collaboration nib holder from Eric at Amarillo Stationery and Rich at River City Pen Company. It is gorgeous though. It's so gorgeous. But hey, I'm a fan of nib holders, so I feel like the more the merrier, right? Like different colorways and different, I like to, swap them every once in a while. I know you are. I know you're teasing. It's just kind of funny. Oh, Miss Marilyn. Hi, good afternoon. How are you doing? How was your weekend? How have you been? Oh, that's lovely. It reminds me of dried grasses that people put in bouquets and vases. Community time? Yeah, that makes sense. I see. I see that. So as this ink dries, we see a little bit more. Does it remind you of forgotten iced coffee? Because to me, it looks, I don't know, it looks really, really interesting. Yeah, let me know what it reminds you of. It's similar to my, let me see. It's somewhat similar to the plotter. It's like, oh, these go really well. It's kind of like it has like a purple, not a purple, but you know what I mean? Like it has like a purpley tone to it. It's brown, it's beige, it's, yeah. You see a little bit of like darkness in there as well. I'm great. Easter was chill. Oh, I'm glad. Yeah, it reminds you of tea. Yeah, I can see that too. I definitely get that like latte, yeah, I get that like latte coffee vibe for sure. But it's very, very nice. And let's actually write with it with the nib. And I think it's a little bit darker than I thought or assumed it might be, which I love. Like I like legible inks. So, forgotten iced coffee. It is dark. Like well, it's not like super dark, but it's like a darker tone. Let's see. There we go. You get that like gray in there as well. Yes, this is the Coffee Monsters and Esterbrook collab. So yesterday I got my pen, the ink, and the blotter paper, and so that's why I'm like unboxing them and inking up. We're gonna ink up the pen, and I got the blotter paper. So this is what the blotter paper looks like. It's a set, right? So there's a few designs, which is very, very cute. And then the matching ink, which is forgotten iced coffee. So it comes in this cute little box. And it's this bottle. And so I'm just, I've just swatched it. I haven't inked up the pen. Yeah. So we're going to ink up the pen and write with it. But so far, I love this ink. I think I assumed it was lighter for some reason, but I think it's going to be really lovely in this pen. So I'm going to show you my pen again. This is the TCMC Estie. The cap band material is sort of this really, really nice swirly pattern by Jonathan Brooks from Carolina Pen Company. And then it also has the Esterbrook engraving on it. And then I got it with a journaler nib, which is ground by Gina. And so you get the engraved initials. You also get the emoji engraved on the nib, which is just this beautiful tiny little detail that I think stands out for the pen. And then the swirly grip section, again by Carolina Pen Company. And each pen is unique in terms of what your pattern looks like or how the swirls sort of appear. And in the light, there's a little bit of shimmer in sort of this light material, the lighter color. So yeah, I love the transition between the colors as well, going from like the dark mocha to like the lighter latte or tea color. And then you get that sort of really light beige cream color, which matches the pen barrel. So yeah, I'm really happy with my the design that's on here. I love that like pop of mocha here. It's like this really nice deep coffee color, right? And then you kind of have like the lighter colors here. And I like that little bit of, you know, the dark peeking through, because it sort of does sort of feel like you just poured milk into your coffee. Such a pretty swirl. Yeah, it is so, so pretty. I don't think I've seen any pens so far, like unboxings or anything, where the person was disappointed with it or just like, you know, it didn't turn out good. Like I don't know if that's possible, because I think just the uniqueness of it and having the different variations in color, I think it doesn't really matter how it's sort of laid out. Is like, it's just so pretty, and it goes so well with a pen that it stands out, but it doesn't like overtake the subtle detail of the rest of the pen, right? Like I just think it goes so well together that it works. So if you're going to ink up the pen, it should come with a converter. And I would just make sure that the nib is screwed on tight, like not over tightened, but that there's no gap between there, just in case. And then also just make sure the converter is snug. And then we're going to ink it up with the ink that it came with. So I always use a protective mat. If you're inking up a pen for the first time, just turn the back dial thing so that it moves down. And so you're ready to ink it up, because as you turn again, it will pull up the ink and it will fill up this part of the converter. So what you're going to do is you're just going to dip it straight into the ink bottle. Don't touch the bottom of the ink bottle, especially if you have a full bottle, right? You just have to submerge it enough that the ink can sort of get to this point here, because that's where it's being sucked up. And just hold on to it securely as you're turning. So turning clockwise, you'll see it fill up with ink. You can get a full fill if you want to. I'm good with this. Especially if I'm not sure if I'm going to keep re-inking it, which I probably will with this one, but who knows, right? I might not. So what I usually have on hand is like a shop cloth type of paper towel, because it's a little bit softer, but also it does soak up the ink really, really well, because it is meant to soak up grease and other materials. You can also, Esterbrook has this nib wipe, and it's just this like micro fiber cloth that's like soft on the nib. And so what you can do is just wipe off the excess ink that's on your grip section, a little bit on the nib. If there's some ink on the nib, it's not that big of a deal, right? Because you'll have ink on your nib if you're using it. And so, yeah. And it is all good to go. Yes, as a pen maker, I'm going to interject my 2 cents here. Bart, by all means, interject. I'm an advocate for inking the converter only, not dipping the nib, especially on light pens. Oh, okay. That's a good reminder. That's actually good to know, Bart. Because I have heard of people just inking up by dipping the converter only and not the pen or not the nib. And yeah, I mean that's a good point. Especially if, like, you know, you have material on the nib, or like you said, if it's a light pen, for sure. But we have filled it up and I'm going to test it out. So we'll do a little bit of writing and drawing with it. And I'll show you what the journaler nib writes like. And then we'll also compare it with a broad journaler. So, okay, I'll be back in a minute. 1 second. BRB. Kid problems, right? Corolla's trying to Google how to kick me out of a live room. Bart, I'm gonna ban you from my next one. No, no, no. It's all good. It's all good. I appreciate it, and I appreciate the different tips and techniques and things like that. And I have also heard of different ways of inking things up. So it is appreciated, trust me. But I can, because I'm doing a live when my kids are at home, I can hear them in the other room. And so I'm like, half of me is like switched on, right? So I don't know that it will stain if you hit the side of the bottle. I know it could stain. Yes. And I feel like because you're a pen maker, you're probably a little bit more aware, right? Like you're a little bit more aware of like the little things that could potentially do something, but may not. Like, what is your opinion on if I don't use the ink, putting the ink back into the bottle, right? Like, so it's just like little things. And 100% always good to know of the risks and if there's a better way of doing something. Or, I mean, you know, you can still dip your nib in the bottle, but just kind of know that, you know, it could potentially stain. Yeah, you've seen a thing or two. Yeah, you probably, and it's like talking to nib specialists and stuff of like how people sometimes don't take care of their nibs, or you know, they don't clean pens between things, or stuff like that. And yeah, you know, there are risks and also like maintenance too, right? So yeah. I know you know a thing or two. I think you know of quite a few things, so I appreciate it. And we can always use reminders and yeah, and other ways of doing things. So oh, here we go. Let's talk about all the maintenance. Best practices and good things to know for sure, right? So I am going to keep going because I can't stream for too much longer, because otherwise, yeah, things are just, I'm going to start to hear, Mommy, I need this. So I got the journaler nib. This is ground from a medium stock nib. And the journaler, if you're not aware of what it is, let me write with it and then I'll show you and talk to you about it, okay? So writes right away, and wow, is it smooth. And so when I draw with it, it's me testing, like I said before, the loops and the feel of the nib as it sort of glides over the paper, and how it takes the different directional changes that you do as you're, and you could do it with cursive, you could do it with any kind of sort of writing, right? But for me, I do it by drawing. So this is the Estie plus journaler. And inked up with forgotten iced coffee. So the journaler nib, as you can kind of see, has a sort of like a smooth stub feel to it, and but it's very comfortable, so it is smooth. And as you're sort of transitioning between vertical and horizontal strokes, it sort of continues that smooth line. And so it's more like, to me, it's more like a smooth stub. But because it's from a medium stock nib, maybe the variation isn't, I can see it, but maybe it's not as pronounced as maybe like a 1.1 stub would be. And yeah, so it is very comfortable to write with. It gives you a little bit of line variation. And it's a great journaling nib because it doesn't feel like you can't do long writing sessions with it. Like it's a daily writer for sure. And I will say that the Estie that I have a broad journaler in, I do use it daily. So I use this for writing in my archive journal, which is just a rundown of the daily events. So Inky, you didn't know there was any other way to do it. Yeah. But good thing that you've done it that way, right? Like I actually didn't know of different ways. I guess it depends on how you sort of get into fountain pens and what your resources are, right? And so as you sort of grow and get to know the hobby, I love that there's different ways of doing things. And unless, you know, you're dealing with like a vintage pen or certain materials that are more likely to corrode or, you know, like when you're sort of using them in certain inks and stuff, if they respond differently, then you sort of have to take that into account, right? And there's always best practices, and there's always better or, you know, good ways of doing things. And then there are other ways of doing things. And so I'm not gonna knock anyone for inking up a pen a certain way or inking it up right away or washing it or taking care of it, because it's your pen and you definitely want to keep it for as long as possible, right? And part of that is taking care of it, maintaining it, getting to know the materials, and doing, you know, inking it up the best way that you can, and cleaning it also, you know, the best way that you can or that you know. And there are different resources that we can turn to that will show us those ways, right? And but yeah, definitely make those decisions based on, you know, your risk aversion and knowing what pen and what ink you're using as well, for sure. Always good to remind ourselves of that. So I feel like after inking up the pen, it is still very close to our swatch. Like using a Kakimori nib or something that sort of puts down a lot of ink, sometimes it will look very saturated, and, you know, you'll look at it and be like, oh, this is very legible. And then when you put it into a pen, it's like, oh, it's not that legible. But I feel like this is just like the right amount of not being too dark if you're into lighter inks or muted tones, neutral shades, earthy colors. And it's definitely this really like warm, like, it's just really like cozy, right? So yeah, I think it's a really nice color. I'm trying to think of an ink that I have that may look like this, and I'm having a hard time thinking of one. So if this reminds you of a shade, maybe Lisa knows. If this reminds you of another ink, let me know, because it's really, really pretty. And I don't think I have something similar to it, maybe. Hello, Oli. Welcome in. How's it going? My tip that I always forget to do when filling the converter directly: stop a little short of the final turn. Tip the converter with the open end upright, then finish the filling motion to pull the ink away from the top. Oh, yeah. That makes a lot of sense, Olive Octopus. So ink doesn't overflow when you connect it to the nib. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense too. Working, but otherwise good. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you were able to join or hang out for a little bit at least. We're just playing with my TCMC Esterbrook because I just got it and I just inked it up with the matching ink, Forgotten Iced Coffee, and doing a little writing sample, a little drawing sample. And then I'm going to show you my other Esties. So this is my Esterbrook Estie collection. So I have 5 and this is my 6th, and I feel like it slots right in there really, really nicely. So I have the Scarlet Red, or red scarlet red, with it had a fine nib in it, and I had Kirk from Pen Realm grind Waverly, and so it just has a little bit more of like a Fude, sort of like a Fude tip to it now. So it puts down a little bit more ink than a fine nib does. Then I also have the Raven, which is the matte black, very sleek. And this one is the button push fill. And so you have a button here. If you unscrew this and you sort of push it down, it will suck in the ink. And it also has this ink window, so you can see your ink level. And that has a broad nib on it, which I haven't done anything with because I kind of like that combination of the broad nib in here. And I usually ink it with a wet ink. And so you get like a really juicy broad line, which I kind of like in that pen. So that's a killer ink name. Yeah. Love that Raven. I know, it is so sleek and just so nice, isn't it? All black. And the name too. It's so Raven. And then this one is the Nouveau Bleu. I think this is probably my all-time maybe, or at least one of my top favorite pens. And this I have with the Techo nib. It is also one of my favorite nibs. And this one I have inked up, so we can do a writing sample with the Techo nib if you're interested or curious. And then this one is the Aqua. So it's a really nice sort of teal shade. I got it with a double broad nib, which is very juicy. But sometimes I don't need that much ink on my paper, and so I put in a Franklin Christoph nib, which is interchangeable. It's a number 6. And this one is actually the B Sig. So it's a broad stub italic gradient from Franklin Christoph. It's ground by Audrey in-house. And so I put that in there. If you're curious, I can also do a writing sample with that. And it is also like a very smooth stub italic sort of nib. I have the Nouveau Bleu with gold trim and Kirk's Katana. Oh, nice. That's a good combo too. And then this one is the Estie Quirky Leaf. And I got it with a broad nib, and then I had Gina grind it to a journaler. So this one is the broad journaler. And so, yeah, and then this is the TCMC Estie. And so, yeah, that's my Estie collection. And yeah, I feel like it goes really well together. That palladium trim is sharp. Yeah, right? Like, it's really, really nice. So, maybe I think I'll do a writing sample on another sheet. You know what? We'll compare it on this side together, and you let me know if you see a difference in a broad journaler and a medium journaler, because I have never tried like a journaler from Esterbrook. So that's why I really wanted the journaler nib, is because I've never tried it directly from Esterbrook on a medium nib. That's what it's ground. So yes, please do show your different nib samples. I have a grind with Annabelle and trying to figure out a grind. Yeah, okay, cool. We'll do a little bit of writing samples. So this is the broad journaler, like I said. I have it inked up with Dominant Industry and Wonder Pen's collaboration ink. It's called Tuna and Olives, and it's this really nice, like olivey green color, right? Also very smooth because it's ground by Gina. So that's the broad journaler. And that's the medium or regular journaler. No blue moon or botanical gardens. I don't. I do love the blue moon though. That's such a nice blue combination. The botanical gardens is always like, it's a really, really nice pen. But I've always kind of found like, I've always kind of been drawn to the blue shades. And so that's why I got the Nouveau Bleu instead. And then even the Scarlet Red has blue in it. Right? And so, yeah, I'm kind of drawn to like the more bluey, the more blue tones. So Blue Moon for sure speaks to me. So, yeah, I do see a difference, right? Like it does look very much more broad than the medium does. So, and especially like when I'm drawing with it, you can see those broad strokes versus like the medium strokes. So I think if you tend to write smaller, if you enjoy the finer nibs, I think the journaler is great because it's a medium nib, but it does look a lot finer than like if you went with a broad. So, and it still gives you those like a smooth stub line, so you can see a line variation, but maybe not as obvious as you would if it was a broad. To me anyways. But yeah, I do like that. So, let's try the B-Sig. So the broad stub italic gradient from Franklin Christoph. Because this is also a broad nib. And it will also look pretty juicy. But, so you can kind of see that stub vertical line. And then it's still very smooth when you're transitioning between the different strokes. And this one, is a B-Sig. And I have it inked up with Bunga Box Tears of Alice, which is probably one of my favorite bright teals. It is so bright, especially like you can see it in the light. It's very so I'll show you. Yeah, look how bright that is. So that's the B-Sig. Hi, Spicy Miso. How are you today? How's your Monday going? Of course, you always... Esterbrook, of course. Everyone loves them. Diamine Soft Mint is beautiful as well. Oh, I should look that up. I do love teals and like green, blue shades. So anything that leans towards it is something that I tend to go for, even though I try and diversify it a little bit because I get a little bored with just blue shades and blue palettes, right? So this is the Esterbrook Estie with a Techo nib. You're a big fan of turquoise? Yeah, it's nice. I've always been drawn to that shade, the shade of like teal turquoise. And I tend to kind of go with blues and greens just because they're kind of calming to me. But I also love like neutral shades, earthy tones. I try and do a little bit more like mauve, purples, pinks. But I feel like I should do a lot more of them. But so this is the Techo nib, ground out of a broad stock nib by CY. And so you do get those broad lines if you're writing at a lower angle. So when you're doing cursive, or if you just kind of have a lower, like I'm trying to show you, but you know, when you're kind of closer to the paper, if you're drawing or writing in that way, you get the broad line. But if you're like when I print, I have a little bit of a higher angle, the way that I grip my pen. And so I will get a little bit of a finer line. So maybe like a fine to a medium. So it does depend on the angle that you're holding the pen at for this type of nib grind. And I have Sailor afternoon tea. And so you can see as you're, you know, when you're writing with a higher angle. Oh, maybe you can't see. So I'll show you after I've written, but so you get those different line variations as you get closer to the page. And then if you do the reverse, you're meant to get like an ultra extra fine line, which may not feel as comfortable to write with, but I think the way that CY grinds it actually does feel like you can get feedback and you can feel the nib, but it doesn't feel scratchy. So if you are into, you know, needle points or ultra extra fine, you can get that line if you use the reverse of this Techo nib. Or if you get a ground by CY, just let him know so that he'll make it in a way that you can use the reverse for just that little teeny tiny line. So that's the Techo nib. So the Techo nib you can get from Esterbrook when they're in stock. So I think currently they may be out of stock, but if they are in stock, you can get it from Esterbrook. You can also get the Techo nib ground by CY. I think he calls it a Sankaksen or a mini Sankaksen. The mini is from the broad nib. The regular Sankaksen, which is similar to a Naginata, is from a double broad nib, and it will give you a lot more variation and just a nice juicy line. And I do have it in a pen. I don't have it inked up. And then this is a B-Sig from Franklin Christoph, just to give you an idea. And this is the broad journaler, ground by Gina. This is the journaler that you can get from Esterbrook. It's ground out of a medium stock nib. And that's the ink as well. So the bright poppy electric turquoise. Yeah, I can't stand yellow. I love painting with yellows though. And a yellow that's legible is really nice. It's just a lot of yellows, if they're true yellows, are hard to read, right? And so, yeah, for me, I'm like, if I can't read it, I'll paint with it or draw with it. In case you don't know, since you're in the US, DHL won't deliver any more stuff over due to tariffs. Okay, that's good to know. I'm in Canada, so not so. Like, so no. So yeah, it's good to know, but if you are in the US, something to keep in mind. So those are the nibs that I have from Esterbrook to compare. I'm just trying to think what else. I could show you like a signature nib from Pilot, which is also similar kind of to a smooth stub to me. I also have a double broad sig from Franklin Christoph. So I think generally I love nibs and tend to get grinds that give me a lot of line variation, or they put down a lot of ink and so I can see a lot more of the ink. And I think that's what I'm kind of I kind of turn towards those types of nibs because then I can see a lot more of the ink, right? And for me, that's part of the writing experience, is enjoying not only the way that a nib writes, but also the ink that I've chosen to put in that pen, especially if it has different properties to it. I like seeing that on paper. And so I tend to I tend to sort of be drawn towards nib grinds that let me see a lot more of those ink properties. So yeah. Let me just see what else I have. I also have medium cursive italics. So I was saying this earlier, but this is the thing about when you do like pen meetups with pen people, is you tend to take out your pouch and you're like, oh yes, and I also have this, and I also have this, and try this out. And then next thing you know, you're like testing everyone's pens and sampling them and doing writing samples and stuff. Which I love. So I do own a Platinum 3776. I only have one, and it is always inked up. I think I got this 2 years ago or 3 years ago, something like that, probably 2 years ago. And it has never been not inked up, because it is one of those writers that I use daily, and also specifically for certain type of note taking. It's an ultra extra fine nib, so it's a needlepoint nib, very sharp. Well, I say very sharp, but actually it's still pretty smooth for a needlepoint, right? Like, it does give feedback, and I do feel it on the paper. But it's like a satisfying writing experience for sure. Care to give some? I love the Platinum 3776. If I could buy more, I wouldn't hesitate to purchase more Platinums. I think I have a Preppy as well. I think Platinum as a brand is great. The 3776 is great. I think probably the only thing I would consider if you're thinking of getting a 3776 is this grip length. So it's kind of a short grip before the threads start, and so depending on how you hold your pen, the threads may or may not sort of get in that way, or you can feel it. For me, I don't really feel it. I sort of hold my pen this way if I'm printing, if I'm doing cursive, or I'm writing on a slant, or handwriting, then I grip it this way. And so you can kind of see those threads start to, they're under my thumb a little bit. But again, it doesn't bother me. And I think for a gold nib as well, I think it looks really pretty. It writes really nice. It's smooth. It's very reliable. Like I said, I've had it inked up for a couple years and have had no issues with it. So yeah, like I said, it kind of depends on whether threads will, it's not like it feels uncomfortable, or it doesn't dig into my thumb or anything like that. But I do know that they are there. So depending on how you do grip your pen, you may or may not sort of have to consider that. And let me see if I can show you with another pen. I guess you mentioned Leonardo, so let's see. Yeah, so Leonardo too has, I don't know what this is, right? Like it sort of moves up at a slant, And so it is comfortable to put your fingers here. And the threading is actually pretty smooth. Whereas here, it is actually kind of defined. And so maybe it's the same sort of distance, I think, probably. Between where, oh, it's a little bit higher up for a Leonardo. But it's pretty close to where the threading starts on a Leonardo versus a 3776. But it does feel more comfortable on a Leonardo than it might on the 3776. Like it's pretty defined. And it also could be that I'm used to it now after a couple years of using it consistently. That I know the threading is there, but it doesn't bother me. So if you're using it for the first time, then yeah, you feel the threads, but it's comfortable. Yeah. This will be your first gold nib. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, like the nibs are great, right? Pilot nibs as well are great. I love the Seik nib. Also, Carol, I saw your comment about the medium cursive italic. I do have time and I will do a sample for you. So let's write with that. So I'm trying to think. I have a cursive italic ground by Annabelle from a broad nib, but it's not inked up. And I can't remember, Carol, if you said that you had it done already or if you were considering it. But I do have a broad cursive italic ground by Annabelle, and I can always ink it up and try it for you, or dip it and try it for you. But this one is a medium cursive italic. It's from Franklin Christoph. It is ground by Nagahara. And if you look on their site, this type of nib is actually, it's a little bit more traditional cursive italic than if you got it custom ground by someone and you can smoothen it out a little bit. And so if you do, if you do your transitional lines, it may feel smoother if you got it custom ground. Whereas with this one, I do feel feedback when I use it. So let me just see. Okay. So depending on the angle that you're holding it at, it will either feel more comfortable, or it will sort of give you that feedback in terms of like maybe hold it at a different angle to get those lines to be a little bit smoother. So that downstroke for sure is like very satisfying. And it's still somewhat smooth, but depending on the angle that you're writing. So when you're doing those sort of slant lines, I can definitely feel that feedback, which is great for if you're doing traditional calligraphy or a writing style that sort of needs those lines to be at a certain angle. And so with more smoother cursive italics, you'll get a little bit of a smoother line when you do your, like sort of those downstrokes from a slant. So I'll be honest, when I first got this nib, I felt like I was doing something wrong because I kind of felt that feedback and I was like maybe I'm not holding it properly. And I think it's just this type of nib does require a certain angle, and it does require a little bit of practice for you to feel comfortable using, more traditional or sharper, like more angled cursive italic. So you have an appointment in Chicago at the pen show. Yeah, nice. So you're trying to figure out what kind of grind to go for, or what might be a good one. There's so many, depending on what kind of writing style you want to do it with, right? Yeah, no worries. I hope that helps. Yeah, I hope that helps, Spicy, too. All done with work and gonna take a break outside, but it was so lovely to end my workday with your stream. Oh, thanks, community time. Definitely get outside if it's nice out. Enjoy the weather. Thanks so much for joining. It's always nice to have you here. Oh, Spicy, you got the nice limited edition. Are you talking about the Leonardo? I missed that comment. I like the reverse architect. I do too, Bard. I do too. The reverse architect. That's what I have on this Leonardo. It is so nice. It is so nice. I am now a big fan of reverse grinds because I kind of feel like I have quite a bit of like custom ground nibs. And now I'm into like getting more out of the nib. So if I can have, a regular sort of a regular nib on one side, and then the reverse is like a little bit of a party. It's kind of fun, right? Yes, this one is beautiful. Yeah. Your dream is having a is that a Waverly on every nib? If you could, yeah, especially if it's like a Leonardo or, yeah. You get those nice nibs done to your liking, to your writing style, right? This one is such a gorgeous, it's such a gorgeous pen, and I got it with a broad nib, and I did like it, I enjoyed it, and then I was like, you know what, it's such a special pen that I want to get a special grind for it. So Gina did a reverse architect on it at the California Pen Show. And now it's like one of my favorite pens, one of my favorite grinds. And it's so fun. And super, super smooth, like transitioning from writing, correctly or on the correct side, and then going to reverse, writing with the architect grind. Like it feels, both sides just feel really smooth, and just like it doesn't feel like it's not meant to be that or something. Yeah, it would be cool for left-handed people. Oh, are you left-handed? Is that why it's, or are you just saying it would be cool for left-handed people? So yeah, you are. Oh, good. I'm glad you found something that works for you too. I feel like we've talked about this, but yeah, I'm glad you found something that works for you, that feels comfortable. And so now you just need to get all your nibs ground in that, right? You just need that grind on everything. Yeah. So what I do when, I don't know if you keep currently inked, or when you ink up a pen, if you document it somewhere, but I use this Sterling ink planner as my interests and hobbies journal. And so I kind of track like when I ink something up or when I get a new pen or a new ink, I document it in here. So the monthly view is what I use for like fountain pens. Then there's like a quarterly layout, which I use for reading. So I track my reading, when I start a book, when I finish a book, And so I kind of keep track of how many books I read, right? And then the weekly, I write just like notes on like books, planners, just like anything that I'm interested in, right? That like hobbies wise. And then in the back, the notes pages. This is what I actually took to the pen show, so I can try different pens, different nibs, different inks. So I do ink swatches in here as well, and I write notes on books that I read. So anything related to hobbies and interests. Like I find this is kind of a good way for me to document things that I've tried in the year. And so, yeah, in the monthly, whenever I ink up a pen in that month, I just jot down the pen, the ink, and the nib. And so I can kind of, you know, look back to what I've inked up. Sometimes when I forget, like, the ink name or something, right? And then also if I get samples, I can kind of see if there's any pen that I want to match it up to. It's a sterling ink, yeah. Common Planner. So this is TRP, Tomoe River Paper Sanzen, which I haven't had an issue with yet in this book. So far it is very fountain pen friendly. So cross my fingers and hope that, yeah, the rest of the book is good. There are times I get frustrated with it. It feels comfortable, but my wallet suffers. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I know what you mean. The weekly pages is just 10, 20 pages extra. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's different layouts for different planners and different books too. So, yeah. Sometimes it's hard to find like the perfect one that suits your needs. And so for me, actually, that's kind of why I went to Plotter, because of the flexibility of rings. But the Plotter rings aren't as like uncomfortable for me to use, whereas like regular rings kind of are. And so that's why I like my Plotter, because I can have like different sections and move them around as I want to. So this is the Estie TCMC journaler. All right, forgotten iced coffee. There we go. Oh, it is so nice. That is a really nice shade. Yeah, my kids are around, I know, and I asked them to be, you know, somewhat quiet, but you know kids. They have today off, and so they're in the other room just like playing on an iPad. Yeah, but I think they're starting to get a little restless, which is fine. I told them I wasn't going to stream for long, but you know how it is. The other thing I also do is keep a note of the custom nibs or like the special nibs that I'm using that month, because I do like to sort of cycle through my different nibs, especially if you get a custom ground, right? Like you're paying money to have a nib tuned and ground for you. And so it's like I like to kind of cycle through them and make sure that I'm enjoying my nibs and enjoying my writing experience with the different nibs. So, okay, 1 second. I'll be back. BRB again. Yeah, kids will be kids, right? Well, they're always hungry, so. Is this a Hobonichi Weeks? Are you talking about this one? No, this is by Sterling Ink. So they're They're an American brand, small shop. You're always hungry. I feel like I always need a coffee, so. But Spicy, this is the week's size. So their sizing is N2 is what they call this, but it is the week size. Yeah, it's similar to a week's, except that it has a little bit more space because they don't have a quote in the bottom. So I actually have a week's. Hold on, I'll show you. So this is the week's, right? So if we can kind of compare it in terms of layout. First of all, the paper, right? The week's is like an off-white cream color-ish. And the sterling ink, or something similar to this type of book, is white paper. There's more space because there's no quotes. So you get like just a little bit more per day. And it's a little bit more minimal. Like they didn't add, the moon phases and things like that. And then on the other side too, they don't have like the sort of secondary line that's easy to ignore, but also it's there if you need it. And they also don't have the rest of the quote and the month. And so you have a little bit more space, I think. What do you have after the 2 pages? Again, weekly page. After the 2 pages. So actually, if you haven't seen this before, I'll do a quick flip through. At the front is just the full year. Then you have 2 blank pages for like the index or a key or something like that. Then you have this, actually I covered up with a washi, but it's meant to be like goals. And so you set your goals like quarterly, monthly, someday, in a year from now. So you're kind of like mapping out your goals for the next little bit, I guess. Then you get the year index, which is great, but like it is pretty small, right? So it's small enough to, like, I just use icons here. Then you get quarterly, so 3 months, and then also broken down here, so you can track something. Then you get each monthly. So there's column here, column there, or a row here, and the months. And then, yeah, the weeks is, so all of the weeks in one section. And then you get 119 grid pages. So just blank grid at the back. And so they're not dated. You could pretty much use them for anything. And with the weeks, I think you get 170. So you get 72 for the regular size, and then you get like 100 and something for the mega. But so 72 versus 100 and, what did I say? 19. Yeah, you get just like a little bit extra, I think. But yeah, no worries. Yeah. Yeah, you like that. It's a little bit taller. Yeah. And also it's soft cover, right? So like your Hobonichi weeks, you can get different covers and stuff like that. But because it's a soft cover, you have the pages go directly up to the cover. And so if you compare them side by side, they're the same size. So like if you're using an external cover, they will both fit. But you get a little bit more, like the pages are a little bit taller, like Miss Marilyn said. Whereas in the weeks, they're a little bit shorter. But so just little sort of differences here and there. But yeah, I do like this sort of layout if you're into using it as a planner, or if you're into using it for, like journaling or tracking different things, right? Yeah, no worries. So yeah, I think that's kind of all I wanted to unbox. All of my, if you missed the beginning of it, all of my sort of the Coffee Monsters Co. Haul. So I got a few things. If you're into stationery and stickers and TCMC. Ooh, I also showed off the blob, the pen rest called Bob. He's a blob, and he's just chilling on the desk. It's a nice heavy weight. Could also be a paperweight. And that was Bob. What else? And the pen. And so I had 2 orders. I met up with Helen yesterday and some pen friends. And we had just chatted about pens, sampled pens. And so I got my 2 orders from Helen. And so that's why I was like, I needed to unbox, but also enjoy them and swatch things and like ink up the pen, obviously. So that's why I hopped on the stream. Monday stream for me. Usually I stream on Wednesdays and Fridays, and so that's why I wanted to get on and just share my excitement over getting the pen. It's a cute little box. All the packaging, that's so on point, right? Like it's so well thought out and so pretty, and yeah, it's really, really lovely. And where did you get Bob? I got it all from the Coffee Monsters Co. So if you're new to the Coffee Monsters Co., it is just, I think, TheCoffeeMonsterzCo.com. And Helen, who is the designer, the creator, the person behind the Coffee Monsters. So it's TheCoffeeMonsterzCo.com. Helen is, and the Coffee Monsters Co. is based out of Canada, British Columbia. And yeah, if you look at the site, there's so many cute things. And so for her anniversary in March, the shop anniversary, 9 years, which is super amazing to see what she's created and accomplished. One of the items that she launched was this cute pen rest. And so you can kind of have this sitting on your desk, and it has this really soft velvety bottom to it so that you don't scratch up your desk because of the metal. And you can sort of put a pen on there. So I won't put this pen on there, but yeah, you can put a pen or a nib holder or anything like that, and he just sort of rests there, right? Really, really cute. So a great desk accessory, and also very heavy. Yeah, it's not good for your wallet. I know, so that's why I put like stationery unboxing in my stream title, because 1 second. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I know. So spicy, that's why I put on stationery unboxing in my stream title, because I was like, if you don't want to see unboxing, then it's all good. But yeah, it's really bad for your wallet. But also I wanted to you know, if people are sort of excited about getting their TCMC Estie, or they're kind of wondering, you know, what it looks like, and what it looks like with the ink and stuff like that. I just wanted to show it off and share in the joy. And yeah, So all the goodies. So now that I've unboxed everything, I can swatch things, and like usually what I do is I put a little bit of the washi into a book, that like a notebook, that just sort of like, it's an inventory of the washi I have so that I remember, like I can flip through it and choose some washi to play with, or I remember the washi that I have, right? Like it keeps a little directory of it. So, and I love this little cute little charm too. It's just like really cute, like stationery items, which I love. I'm into like all kinds of little stationery things, and yeah, like pens, inks, but also, right, like the stickers and stuff like that. So yeah. And all the little things. Yeah, I love Helen too. She's amazing, and the stationery community and the pen community is amazing, and I love that we come together and support these small makers, support, you know, designers who are designing, like who put so much thought into making us, like bringing us joy, making us happy with, like, you know, just like the little things that really do just add to our hobby, and that bring us joy, and like just using. And I hope you do, if you're into stationery and you get stickers and stuff, I hope you do use them, because there's a joy in, you know, on like peeling off stickers off their sheet and adding them to a notebook, or, you know, tearing off a strip of washi and adding it to your journal. And then it's always kind of sitting there, and you can see, especially with like the Coffee Monsters Co., where Helen puts so much thought into the little details, the little foiling. Sometimes you'll find like a special little, like, she'll write like a little word in it or something that just like, just to make people smile or make people laugh when they notice it. And it's not always obvious, but sometimes when you put a washi tape down in your journal and you're kind of like, oh, it says this, or, you know, it's just little things. And I think she sort of nailed it with the packaging here too, where it's like just every little thing, every little detail is like, you know, it's just makes us smile, I guess. So not to jump the gun or anything, but have you seen the Traveler's Notebook that is coming out on the 24th? I don't think I have. Maybe I have. I don't know. It's the little things. Sometimes they're so little. Yeah. You have to. Yeah. I mean, sometimes they're just hidden. Maybe they're like hidden, like little Easter eggs, right? And then you kind of have to take a close look. But Helen does have a very active and engaged Facebook group whose sole job sometimes is to look at posts and products and things and kind of pull out those little details that she throws in just for fun. And I love kind of finding out about those little Easter eggs. So yeah. Oh, you have a link. Let's see. Oh yeah, the Love and Trip. Yeah. I thought it was something else, and I was like, oh, what did they announce? Yeah, the Love and Trip. It's been on pre-order at quite a few retailers, and I think it's gonna do really, really well. Especially for that like burgundy red color, right? Like it's so gorgeous. I didn't order it because I have enough TNs. But that's not to say I might not pick it up at a later date. Did you get it, Miss Marilyn? I want the cat one so bad. Yeah, I know, it's really cute, the passport size. The red color is really, really nice, and I love that whole collection too, right? And I like how the cover is very like nondescript. Let me show you. So if you're into this color, for sure. I love the detail in the back with Love and Trip on there. And yeah, the inserts are really cool. Love the foiling. there's always so much thought put into this that it's like even that clip, the pen loop, so nice. So if you do get it, enjoy, because it's very gorgeous. Yeah. Yeah. It can mean different things sometimes. For sure. Anyways, friends, it's been so nice. Thank you so much for joining. It's been so nice hopping on a Monday and starting the week off with everyone. Whether or not you were in and out or lurking, or if you're watching the replay, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm glad, you tune in at all. I'm glad that you're here to keep me company sometimes, and enjoy stationery as much as I do, and always geek out about pens and inks and stickers and planners and all sorts of things. If you do have questions about planners and journals, and if you want me to try out other nibs, for sure, let me know. I am more than happy to do so. Because we're nearing the end of the month, I do want to do a currently inked stream. And so it might be this Wednesday. I may be streaming a little bit later, but I think I am going to do a currently inked. So I'll bring out all of my fountain pens that I have inked up currently. We'll talk about what's been inked up, and I'll do a writing sample with the nibs. We'll also talk about notably inked, which are the fountain pens that I ink up per month to really enjoy, because they're notable. So it's because of the nib or the pen or the type of ink that I've put in it. And so we'll do a spread with those fountain pens as well. So yeah, but let me know if you have any questions, or if ever you kind of want to see more of something else, or you want me to share about stuff. I'm more than happy to do so, because I love hanging out. I love sharing things about stationery, and I love when people get enjoyment out of it. So yeah, Mrs. G's, thanks so much for joining. Miss Marilyn, Carol, thanks for being here. Everyone, Bart lurking somewhere. And yeah, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you. Go play with stationery, have some fun, enjoy your week. If I don't see you on Wednesday or anytime this week, have a great rest of your week and enjoy. You're making pens. Yay! Enjoy making pens, Bart. I'll see you in the next stream, okay? Bye, everyone. Bye. I appreciate you. Thank you. I'll see you next time, okay?